Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live. It is time for us to go live today, December 13th. And you can see right away, December 13th, it's Friday the 13th, and I had a problem with my camera. I hope that's the only problem that I have here today. Anyway, this is time for your weekend update, the Humbug edition of the weekend update. For those of you who don't want to hear about Christmas music or Christmas-themed concerts, recitals, operas, ballets, anything having to do with Christmas this weekend. And we have a fair number of things we can tell you about, so you can have a good time finding out all about them. We start out already tonight because there are two lovely concerts tonight, which Friday, December 13th, in Portuguese-speaking countries, both of which have nothing to do with Christmas. How about that? So if you don't want to hear about Christmas, the first of them is coming up very soon. The Gulbenkian Orchestra in Lisbon, Portugal, will come online at 8 o'clock in the evening, Friday the 13th, European time. That's 2 in the afternoon on the East Coast. That's 11 in the morning on the West Coast, live on YouTube, free of charge. And they will be live streaming a concert with a marvelous soloist, Leila Josefowicz, or Josefowicz. I'm always unsure how to pronounce these names, who is one of the top violinists, not only in the United States, but the world. And many contemporary composers, from Colin Matthews to John Adams, have composed concertos expressly for her to play. She won't be playing that this evening. This evening, she'll be playing Alban Berg's very touching violin concerto, To the Memory of an Angel, dedicated to the daughter of Alma Mahler, who died very young. And the orchestra will then proceed to play Mahler's Symphony No. 9 in D major. So there's a continuity to the whole evening and a marvelous soloist that you can enjoy. Several hours later, the Sao Paulo Orchestra, live streaming from Brazil, where they also speak Portuguese of a kind, will be coming online at 8:30 in the evening Brazil time, which is 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast in the U.S., 3:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast, and midnight here in Europe. Brazil is 4 hours behind Europe and 2 hours ahead of the East Coast in the U.S. They will be live streaming the great cellist Jean-Guihen Queyras, who, like Leila Josefowicz, has been very involved with contemporary music. He is a longtime member of the French Ensemble Contemporain, led by Pierre Boulez. So that's where he got his leadership when it comes to contemporary music. But tonight, he's playing romantic music. Once again, he'll be playing Tchaikovsky's Variations on a Rococo Theme, Opus 33, and Tchaikovsky's Andante Cantabile, which will be followed by, after the intermission, a performance of Anton Bruckner's most popular or most often played symphony, Symphony No. 4 in E-flat major, the so-called Romantic Symphony, written during the same period of time in which Tchaikovsky's pieces were being written. And since I've spoken to you about these two soloists, why don't I show you a picture first of the very dramatic Leila Josefowicz. I mean, she plays with this passion, with this intensity. And it's always never just the technical expertise that makes for the great performers. It's the passion, it's the investment that they bring to it over and above technical, getting as close to perfect as a human being can get by practicing enormous amounts of time. And then the follow-up after that will be Jean-Guihen Queyras, who I'm sure works at as much at the cello, playing the cello, as Leila does at playing the violin, and you get the benefit from both of them. Now, if neither of these full-blown symphonic concerts interest you, you still have the choice this Friday night of listening to this guy. Canon Martin Green doing a live stream at 1 in the afternoon San Diego time, which is 4 o'clock on the East Coast and 10 o'clock in the evening here in Europe, an organ recital on St. Paul Cathedral of San Diego's marvelous organ. I always say that Canon Martin Green is the most articulate and engaging organ recitalist that I know of out of those who are live streaming. And but he doesn't tell us what he's going to play in advance. So you'll find out when it happens in about 6 hours from now, because it's about 4 o'clock in the late afternoon here in Europe as I'm live streaming, or a little after 11 in the morning on the East Coast and 8 in the morning on the West Coast. Sorry, I'm doing it about 2 hours earlier than usual, but I have Christmas concerts to attend this weekend. So that's it for Friday. What do we have for you on Saturday, which doesn't have anything to do with Christmas? Well, the only concert we found is Gene Pritzker with Composer's Concordance, doing what Composer's Concordance always does. This is newly composed works by Gene and others, which combine classical instruments with electronic sounds and jazz and spoken word and vocals. Check it out if you dare. It's at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, December 14th, 1 o'clock in your afternoon on the West Coast, 10 o'clock in the evening here in Europe, and 8 o'clock Sunday morning down under in Australia if you want to get up and listen to this. It's free of charge, and it's on their Facebook page. We give you the links as usual. Now, this brings us then to Sunday's offerings, when we do have several live streams which we can recommend to you. The first of them is coming from this from the Juan March Foundation in Madrid, and it's a concert of Gabriel Belcheri, you see there in the photo, who's a tenor, and Jeremy Nastasi playing the theorbo and the Baroque guitar, and they'll be playing what are called airs de cour from the mid-17th century, the time of Louis XIV in France. And an air de cour is a monody accompanied by the guitar or the lute. This is on Sunday, December 15th at noon European time. You'll have to get up at 6 in the morning on the East Coast, or stay up late Saturday night till 3 in the morning on the West Coast. But it's a lovely 10 in the evening on Sunday evening down under in Australia. They'll be playing, well, who are the composers that wrote this kind of stuff? Well, so you'll be familiar with some of the names. Marc-Antoine Charpentier. I was a choir boy. We sang a lot of Charpentier. Jean-Baptiste Lully. And then others whom you may not be familiar with, like Constantin Huygens, Michel Lambert, Joseph Chabanceau de la Barre, and Etienne Moulinier, whom some of you may know of. But if you're not an early music expert, you probably won't know these things, but it's a chance for you to discover it. So you may enjoy that. What if you want something more bombastic for your Sunday? Well, how about a magnificent organ playing operatic airs, opera arias, or music from operas? You get a chance to hear this Sunday during the usual 5 o'clock p.m. in European time organ recital live stream from St. Eustace Church in Paris. Now, before you dismiss this, I want you to bear in mind, if you were impressed by Notre Dame's Cathedral's magnificent organ at the reopening concert last week, the organ at St. Eustace Church in Paris is just as big. Like the Notre Dame Cathedral organ, it has 115 stops and 7,952 pipes. The only difference between them is one of them is a little bigger physically than the other, and I always forget which one. And they're made by different makers. The St. Eustace Church is a Van den Heuvel organ, and Van den Heuvel is an excellent organ building and designing company. Anyway, and they designed that particular organ with the advice of Jean-Guihen, who had been the longtime organist at St. Eustace Church. So they built in things that a top organist would like to have. What will they be playing? Well, first, let me tell you, they're playing at 5 o'clock European time, well, 5:15 European time, 11:15 on the East Coast in the morning, and 8:15 in the morning on the West Coast. They'll be playing Verdi's Triumphal March from Aida, Massenet's Méditation from Thais, Edvard Grieg's In the Hall of the Mountain King from Peer Gynt, and the Fantasy from Bizet's Carmen. So that's going to be bombastic, played on almost 8,000 pipes. I mean, I don't know how you do better than that for an organ recital, which goes beyond being an organ recital. And it has nothing to do with Christmas. So there you go. Well, I think we have just one more non-Christmas concert to commend to you. And you know, I forgot to change the image again. I'm always making that mistake. Before we leave off the subject of St. Eustache Church, there's a photo of the 5 manual keyboard setup of that organ and of the pipe work, which looks a lot cleaner in the photos than it does in real life. But anyway, that's what you have coming to you. That's what that music will be played on. And the evening will conclude on Sunday for you, if you're avoiding all the Christmas concerts, with one more piece. This is from Seattle, Washington. The people in Washington State, they just love chamber music. I just got to say it. And they have chamber music festivals in the summertime that go on for 4 to 6 weeks at a time, and they live stream at least half of what the concert. So be ready next summer if you want to hear a lot of great live stream music. Of course, if you're willing to pay for it, well, these festivals offer it. Anyway, there's what's called the North Corner Chamber Orchestra, NOCO, in Seattle, and they're doing a concert called Eccentricities on Sunday, December 15th, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I told you it would be to end your day. 10:30 in the evening on the East Coast. It'll be 4:30 in the morning in Europe, and I don't think people will get up for this concert, but it'll be 2:30 in the afternoon down under in Australia, and Australians like chamber music too. They live stream a fair amount of it. Anyway, they'll be doing the Battaglia Adis in D major, the Battle of 10 in D major, which is about a 17th century battle composed by Heinrich Ignaz Franz Biber. They'll be doing a piece called Extraordinarily Fancy by composer Viet Quang, who's a contemporary composer. It's a piece for 2 oboe soloists. Maybe that's why they're talking about eccentricities. Then they'll be doing a piece called Sinfonia de Pacifica, the Symphony of the Pacific, by the Australian composer Peggy Glanville Hicks. And they will finish off with something which is not eccentric at all. Mozart's Symphony number 35 in D major, Kerschel number 385. If it's got a Kerschel number, it's not eccentric. The Hafner Symphony. So that's what we have for you this week. If you're just saying, bah, humbug, John, I don't want any of this Christmas stuff. Can't I just have some wonderful music or other performances to enjoy? Well, there you have them. Now, even though Christmas may not be coming for you, there's an old song, Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. I'm the old man. The hat is, press the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube or X, where you can subscribe. Press the follow us button if you're following us on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or if you see this on Threads or on X. We're on all these platforms because I want everybody to have a chance to find out about all these great live streams. You know, follow us there, like us, and repost our live streams and our posts to other people you know that love this music, as we bring together the millions of people around the world who love the performing arts. You know, the performing arts industry contributes more than $1 trillion or euros to the global economy every year. So where are we when it comes to getting together online? It's about time more of us showed up. Anyway, I won't say any more about Christmas now. I'll just wish you a lovely weekend, and I hope that one or more of these live streams that I told you about will uplift you, inspire you, or maybe just give you a heck of a good time. All right, ciao for now. I'll be back in about 15 minutes with the Christmas concert weekend update, so you may not want to miss that.